ليه لما الام بتنكريس الاي بتنكريس؟ اللوجيك بتاعها لطيف جدا. في هنا الانترميديت ستيب انه الام when m increased, okay, as you saw p increased to restore the long run equilibrium. طب what is the effect of the higher p on the goods market? Higher p, remember من ال IS curve that maybe you have in your notebooks. The IS curve لما higher p ده هيأثر ازاي على ال competitiveness. Remember the real exchange rate هو E P star over P. وإن logs في الإيكويشن في ال IS عندنا مكتوب E plus P star minus P, right? higher وده كان البارامتر بتاعه اللي بيأثر بيه على ال Y. لما higher P ده معناه إيه؟ إن ال real exchange rate بتاعنا حصل له إيه؟ real exchange rate مع higher P معناها real exchange rate appreciated. معناها ايه real exchange rate appreciated؟ معناها انه this worsens the competitiveness of the domestic goods, which means it reduces the demand for the domestic goods. صح؟ يبقى again higher P او خلينا نقول من اول higher money supply has caused the price level to increase to restore equilibrium in the money market. But the higher price will also hurt the competitiveness, will worsen the competitiveness of the goods, so it will reduce aggregate demand. طيب to restore equilibrium in the goods market, what should happen to increase aggregate demand again? يعني I hope ان الكلام يكون يعني عارفه اوصله انه انا عندي بدور على التوازن في الجودز ماركت في اللونج ران. لما السعر ارتفع نتيجة انه الماني سبلاي، اول حاجة الماني سبلاي ارتفع، فلما الماني سبلاي ارتفع بقى عندي ماني سبلاي اكتر من ماني ديماند تو ريستور الايكوليبريم ده. وانا في اللونج ران، ففي اللونج ران الاي كونستنت، فمش هريستور ايكوليبريم بان الاي تنخفض. تو ريستور ايكوليبريم كان لازم الاسعار ترتفع. لما الاسعار ترتفع بنفس نسبة الارتفاع في الماني سبلاي يبقى انا كده رجعت عندي ايكوليبريم في الاسيتس ماركت. طب ايه تداعيات او what are the impacts of the higher price level on the goods market؟ ان ال competitiveness بتاعت ال goods market قلت وبالتالي aggregate demand في ال goods market يقل. طب what should happen to restore equilibrium؟ لازم حاجة to improve the competitiveness in the goods market اللي هي هتبقى ايه in terms of the exchange rate. لو الاسعار ارتفعت والحاجة بقت اغلى يبقى انا محتاج كمان ال exchange rate يرتفع علشان تبقى الحاجة cheaper ويرجع ال aggregate demand يبقى equal to aggregate supply. So again, the increase in M will lead to higher exchange rate 1 for 1. يبقى delta M هتساوي delta P هتساوي delta E. This is the money neutrality concept. طيب ال economic logic اللي زي ما قلت to restore equilibrium in the assets market we need higher P. But the higher P hurts the competitiveness. So we need higher exchange rate to restore equilibrium or to improve the competitiveness once again. Okay? I will erase برضو this crowded board ونرجع نشوف طيب what's the impact of higher interest rate. طبعا higher interest rate هنا واضح انها هتعمل higher P، وهنشوف هنا برضو higher interest rate واضح انها هتعمل higher E، right؟ ونشوف اللوجيك بتاعها. بعد كده higher potential GDP هيعمل lower P عشان هنا ال coefficient minus، و higher output هيعمل ايه في ال E؟ it depends on البراكت ده. البراكت ده 1 over B minus B 1 over beta minus B. لو positive يبقى higher Y will lead to higher equilibrium exchange rate. This is what I'm going to discuss يعني in a second after I erase this board and I يعني put the equations once again ونعمل ال comparative statics دي كلها. وبرضو علشان not to be confused or يعني lost in the details, what we're doing now is that we have written the equations of the Dorn-Busch model in the long run and we're using it to do some comparative statics. We haven't done any dynamics so far. خليني اكتب تاني برضو اهم equations هنستعملهم دلوقتي اللي هما اللونج ران اللي احنا لسه حالا عاملينهم، بس عشان ما ننساهمش انه ال P بار بتساوي M بار plus AI star minus BY بار. دي اللي كنا سميناها equation 3. بعد كده كتبنا واحدة تانية اللي اسمها P bar is equal to P bar minus P star plus Y bar plus gamma I star over beta. بعدين جبنا منها by substituting P هنا جبنا equation تالتة اسمها E bar is equal to M bar minus P star plus A plus gamma over beta I star plus 1 over beta minus B Y bar. Okay, شفنا what is the impact of an increase in M on P or an increase in M on E bar. Next I will ask, what is the effect of if I star increased? What will happen? What will happen to P bar? And what will happen to E bar? Okay, برضو from equation 3, if I star increased, P bar will increase. Now I ask the economic intuition. Why? Why do you think إنه لو ال I star اللي هو ال equilibrium interest rate increased, P bar will increase? The answer is when I star increases, الأول think of the, على فكرة this equation comes from the assets market. Well, this equation comes from the goods market. دي comes from the LM ودي comes from the IS. صح؟ فأول ما أشوف هنا وعايز أشوف الأثر يعني the relation between I and P, I look at this equation from the LM. فأقول when I star increases in the assets market, money demand will decrease. Okay? So money demand becomes less than money supply. Now to reduce money supply, to restore back equilibrium, you need higher price. صح؟ يبقى again إنه to reduce M over P to restore equilibrium in the assets market, you need higher price. طيب why? What happens هنا؟ أرجع أقول when I star increases from equation 5 اللي هي بتاعت goods market, ألاقي إن when I star increases, these are positive parameters. E bar will increase, and then I ask myself what is the economic logic or what's the economic intuition behind it. فأقول أرجع أفتكر إنه لما I star increased, we ended up with higher P. Higher P, this is a common variable that affects both the assets and the goods market. هقول higher P in the goods market برضو hurts what? Hurts competitiveness. When it hurts competitiveness, we need something to improve competitiveness. So what should improve competitiveness? We need higher E to improve competitiveness and restore equilibrium in the goods market. يبقى عرفنا برضو إنه لما ال I بترتفع هلاقي إنه ال P هترتفع وهلاقي إنه from this equation ال E bar هترتفع. طيب let's ask the third question, which is طيب what happens if Y increased? If Y increased from equation 3, it's clear that P will decrease. يبقى if Y bar increased from equation 3, we see that P bar will decrease. ليه برضو؟ أسأل هنا تاني why أو the economic logic. Again أفكركم إن this equation has to do with the equilibrium in the assets market. هقول لأنه if Y increases, money demand increases, right? صح؟ To restore equilibrium, you need higher money supply. Given the money supply constant, so you need lower price. لأن a lower price will result in a higher real money supply. Okay? So طيب the next step إني أسأل طب ال higher Y هتعمل إيه في ال E bar from equation 5؟ هلاقي إنه the answer depends on if this parameter 1 over beta minus b is positive, is greater than 0, يبقى higher y will lead to higher exchange rate inequilibrium. But if 1 over beta minus b is less than 0, then higher y will lead to a lower exchange rate regime, a lower exchange rate. يبقى خلينا نقول إنه an increase in y، لأن احنا if you multiply this y by يعني if you remove the bracket, then you can write إنه plus 1 over by minus by. صح؟ يبقى كأن أقول إنه there is an effect that is positive and there is another effect that is negative. يبقى كأننا بنقول the increase in y bar has two opposing effects on e bar. Right or wrong? One depends on beta, on b, and one depends on beta. Let me remind you what is b and what is beta. B is the elasticity of money demand with respect to y. The elasticity of money demand with respect to y. أما beta is the elasticity of output with respect to real interest rate. طيب, what are these two opposing effects? أول effect بيقول لنا إيه؟ إنه أول effect بيقول لنا إنه if اللي هو minus beta y ده، إنه if y increases again minus by، خليني أقول لكم تاني إن البي دي هي elasticity of money demand، elasticity of money demand with respect to y. Elasticity of money demand with respect to y. أما البي لما ال y increases, the money demand increases. Okay? When money demand increases, what happens is to restore equilibrium زي ما احنا قلنا، زي ما احنا لسه قايلين فوق، to restore equilibrium the price has to go down. Okay? The decline in price affects the goods market in the way we just explained. The decline in the change in the price affects the competitiveness. Here, the decline in the price makes the domestic goods more competitive, and so to cancel this effect, we need what? We need an appreciation. That's why you have the effect of an increase in y is associated with minus beta, where beta is the elasticity of money demand with respect to output. لو elasticity دي كبيرة هيبقى كل ما الواي تزيد حاجة بسيطة الماني ديماند يزيد قوي، وبالتالي البي تقل قوي ونحتاج معاها lower exchange rate. So this is one effect. But what about the other effect اللي هو 1 over beta y? This is a positive effect. إن كل ما الواي تزيد المفروض الاكسشينج ريت يزيد. طب في الآخر whether the exchange rate will increase or decrease depends on whether 1 over beta y is greater than or less than minus beta y. طب 1 minus beta y tells you إنه beta دي هي is the elasticity of output with respect to the real exchange rate. This tells you إنه if beta d is small, this means إنه the elasticity of output with respect to the real exchange rate is small. يعني إيه؟ يعني if the exchange rate depreciates, again beta d هي elasticity of output with respect to the real exchange rate. يعني percentage change in output that results from a percentage change in the real exchange rate. If beta is small, this means that a small depreciation, if beta is small, this means that a small percent change in output that results from percentage change in the real exchange rate. It means that if the exchange rate depreciates, output will increase, but only a little. And how the response of output to exchange rate is small. If beta is small, معناها إنه the response of output to changes in the exchange rate is small. طب إيه output لما بيحصل depreciation المفروض this improves competitiveness and output increases. So if beta is small, this means that the response of output to a depreciation is small. So in order to see a change in output, يعني in order to see an increase in output, to see a good increase in output, you need not small depreciation, you need big depreciation. So again, if beta is small, this means that an increase in output is associated, or this means that a depreciation will lead only to a very small increase in output. So let me explain this again after I clear the board. أرجع معلش أشرح تاني حتة effect of an increase in output on the exchange rate. لو بصيتوا على equation 5 that you have، عشان برضو بدل ما نكتبها تاني، لو بصيتوا على equation 5 اللي احنا لسه كاتبينها هنلاقي إنه الcoefficient بتاع ال y في equation 5 الكوفيشنت بتاع الواي عبارة عن 1 over beta minus b y bar. فبنلاقي إنه if y bar increased there are two effects on the exchange rate working in opposite directions. واحد بيقول إنه e bar will increase، واحد بيقول e bar will decrease. E bar will decrease depends on beta اللي هو minus beta y bar. وبيتا دي قلنا elasticity of money demand with respect to y. If beta is large, this means that if y increases, what happens? If y increases, money demand will increase a lot, and so to restore equilibrium, we will need money demand will increase. So to restore equilibrium, we will need a decline in the price level. صح؟ طيب. The decline in the price level will create improvement in competitiveness. To cancel this, you will need what? An appreciation. But that's why if you have big beta, you will have big appreciation. But what about 1 over beta y bar? This is the elasticity of output with respect to real exchange rate. Okay? علشان في الآخر if you want إنه this bracket 1 over beta minus b to be greater than 0, يعني you want 1 over beta to be greater than b, then you want 1 over b to be big enough, right? For 1 over b to big enough, for 1 over beta to be big enough, you need beta to be small. يعني إيه beta to be small? يعني you need the elasticity of output with respect to real exchange rate to be small, which means إنه a depreciation will only lead to a small increase in y. Okay? So in order to see a big increase in y, you will need a big depreciation. يعني a big depreciation is needed to cause output to increase. لأنه output is not responsive to depreciation. أنا قصدي أقول again إنه لو البارامتر بيتا اللي هو مرونة أو استجابة الاوتبوت للديبريشيشن قليل قوي، يبقى أنت محتاج depreciation كبيرة جدا عشان تحرك الواي وتزود الواي. فلو كانت ال 1 over بيتا أكبر من البي، ساعتها لو ال 1 over بيتا أكبر من البي، ساعتها زيادة الواي لازم تكون جاية مع depreciation، لأنه ساعتها لازم الديبريشيشن تكون كبيرة قوي علشان تعمل زيادة في الواي. فلما تبقى depreciation كبيرة قوي، depreciation هتبقى أكتر من الابريشيشن. الابريشيشن هتبقى بسبب إيه؟ بسبب زي ما قلت إن زيادة الواي بتترتب عليها زيادة الطلب على النقود، وبالتالي علشان restore equilibrium في الماني ماركت محتاجين lower برايس عشان الريل ماني سبلاي يزيد، واللور برايس بيعمل تحسن في الكومبيتيتفنس في الجودز ماركت. عشان الغي ده وارستور ايكويليبريم في الجودز ماركت بحتاج ابريشيشن. طيب امتى بقى الايفكت بتاع الديبريشيشن يبقى اكبر من الايفكت بتاع الابريشيشن اند توينز؟ لما تكون البيتا دي صغنونه قوي. لما تكون البيتا صغنونه قوي معناها انه الاوتبوت does not respond much للديبريشيشن، فلازم يحصل ديبريشيشن كبيره so that output will increase. If beta is small, 1 over beta will be large, and therefore 1 over beta minus b will be greater than 0. If 1 over beta minus b is greater than 0, then the increase in y will lead to an increase in the exchange rate. Okay? Okay, then what do we have left هنا? One minute, please. Okay, we're done with that. Okay, so now we're done with the comparative analysis or comparative static analysis in the long run. ان انا اشوف ال long run values of ال E وال P هيحصل لها ايه لما حاجة من المتغيرات بتاعتي تتغير. The next step ان احنا نكتب ال short run equations. فنرجع لل IS curve وال LM curve بتاعنا او ال IS equation وال LM equation بتاعتنا ونextract منهم ال I وال Y. Okay, so I'm going back to write the LM equation and the IS equation, and from those equations I'm going to substitute the IS equation into the LM equation to find I and Y. Okay? So let us do that. احنا كده خلصنا one يعني stage of our analysis اللي هي احنا كتبنا ال long run equations وعملنا comparative statics. ازاي ال E bar وال P bar هيتغيروا لما اما ال M تتغير او ال I star تتغير او ال Y bar تتغير. دلوقتي we're back to the short run analysis ان انا اكتب ال LM وال IS و substitute ال IS into the LM to find ال I. بعد كده اخد ال I substitute it in the IS curve واجيب ال Y. Okay. Next, after we do that, we're going to find the E dot and P dot. So let's now first again substitute زي ما قلنا ال IS في ال LM. خليني أكتب معلش تاني. ادي ال LM هكتبه تاني هنا. ال LM equation. M minus P equals to minus AI plus BY. Will IS equation. Y is equal to beta E plus P star minus P minus gamma I. This is equation 1 and this is equation 2. طيب هناخد ال IS curve اللي هو Y بيساوي that and we are going to substitute it into the LM curve. When we do this, we will be able to write M minus P is equal to negative AI plus B, and then you open a bracket and you substitute the value of Y اللي هي دي beta E plus P star minus P minus gamma I. Okay? When we rearrange, يعني بس multiply terms by each other and we collect all the i's on one side, you can get the I on the right hand side as being minus M plus bracket 1 minus B beta P plus B beta E plus B beta P star over A plus B gamma. Okay, so call this equation 6 for example. Okay, next once ان انا جبت ال I, طب مش اقدر اخد ال I دي and I substituted back in the IS curve to find Y. This is what we're going to do. Use equation 6 into equation 2. Use equation 6 into equation 2. So you can write Y is equal to beta E plus P star minus P minus gamma, and then you open a big bracket and you substitute the value of I. Okay? Okay, كمان ناخد دي as a common, this is a common denominator so we can take it out. So you divide by A plus B gamma, and then you have here all of that. Minus M plus 1 minus B beta bracket P plus B beta E plus B beta P star. Okay, and then we rearrange this equation to write it as Y equals to A beta over A plus B gamma plus A beta plus B gamma plus gamma over M minus A beta plus gamma over A plus beta gamma P. And that would be equation 7. Okay, now we got the interest rate, the short run interest rate, and the output in the short run. Equation for the short run interest rate as a function of M, P, E, and P star. وهنا برضو output as a function of M, P, E, and P star. Okay? ممكن برضو نستخدم الايكويشنز دي عشان نشوف ال short run effects. These are short run I and Y as a function of ال M وال P وال E وال P star, ونبدأ نسأل بعد ال short run effects. تعالوا مثلا نسأل what's the effect of an increase in P bar in the short run on I and Y. ادي equation بتقول لي ان ال I في الشورت run بتعتمد على ال M وعلى ال P وعلى ال E وال P star. والواي بتعتمد كذلك على الام والبي والاي والبي ستار. فلما ابدا اسال what is the effect of an increase in P in the short run on the interest rate and on output. خلينا نبص على هنا الاول on the interest rate. هلاقي ان انا عندي نفس القصه تاني، عندي bracket فيه 1 minus b beta. لو ال 1 minus b beta is greater than 1 يبقى هلاقي انه higher p leads to higher I. لكن لو 1 minus b beta less than 0 يعني negative هيبقى ال higher p بتعمل lower interest rate, and then we will see the economic logic in a minute. But let us first see what is the effect of an increase in p on y. هنا it is straightforward, we can tell it has a minus sign and these are all positive parameters. Therefore, from equation 7, higher p leads to lower y. Can anybody explain logic why? Higher p again نفتكر ان higher p بتأثر في ال assets market. Higher p means higher p طبعا higher p هتأثر على money supply. اوكي بس يعني let me postpone that a second. خلينا نقول هنا again احنا هنا بنتكلم على الواي ده is goods market. ف higher p is a matter of affecting competitiveness again. Competitiveness gets worsened. صح worsens. Competitiveness worsens because of the higher p. And therefore output will decrease. صح؟ هنا في الشورت ران، احنا مش في اللونج ران، فاحنا we don't have to balance this يعني صح؟ So يعني هنا أنا بقول إنه higher P worsens ال competitiveness وبالتالي ال output decreases. طيب عايزة أشوف